Good evening, Tatiana, if you can hear me.
Good evening, Kuban. Yes, I'm here. Good evening, everybody.
Right, nice. It's great to see you again. I know it's been a busy week, but as usual, but nice to have you. Of course, as you always do, create time to come and talk, not just um, about or talk about more the normal things we used to do, but coming to share your experience as well as helping others benefit from this experience. And I think this is very crucial. So we'll just go ahead and just have a conversation, and hopefully with the conversation and with the questions that everyone will bring in, they would have something to go, right? But
Yeah.
yeah. So, but before I start, I think I'll allow you to just maybe talk about your background, and then maybe just also tell us why you introduce yourself. There are some new faces here. You just give us your background, and then also talk about what made you to get into your transition to cloud. Maybe we'll start from there with your background. Yeah.
Hey, thank you, Prof. And thanks for this opportunity. Nice to meet everybody again. It's been a while since I attended one of these Saturday sessions. And I remember these sessions before were also very inspiring for me when I had to listen from those who had gone or who were here before me tell their stories and how they navigated through. So, okay, as you already know, my name is Tataiana Kinyuy, Tatiana Ngalim, and I'm based in the UK. I'm a Cameroonian, so I'm family. Don't be
Yeah.
afraid. I'm
Right.
family. And currently, I occupy a role of cloud platforms engineer at an international company. It's called Eden Red Paytech, so it's a financial service company. But prior to that, let's talk about what I was before. So I have a degree in medical laboratory sciences back in Cameroon. So I'm of the medical background. That's establishing the fact that I'm of a medical background. I've practiced in biomedical sciences. When I moved over to the UK, I did my master's degree in biotechnology. So yeah, the plan was to continue in the medical field and to work with some technology. That was my mindset as you hear in the word biotechnology. But yeah, so I hold a master's in biotechnology. And unfortunately or fortunately now, I didn't practice in that field here in the UK. So even before I finished my biotechnology degree, I had already started studying or learning at WirfonCloud. So my cloud transition, maybe what prompted me to want to study cloud computing at all. Now, this might be a bit out of the box for most people because I didn't sit down to think about it that I wanted to do cloud computing in particular, but I had thought of doing something that could give me a job that I would work from home. And why was this? Because when I was about to complete my studies, I started looking for opportunities, work job opportunities. What can I do as a biotechnologist when I complete my studies here in the UK? So it took me back to the fact that I still have to continue practicing as a biomedical scientist, but now with the condition that I need to be certified by a professional council here in the UK. Okay, that wasn't the problem. I couldn't go through the certification process because I needed some documents from back home and all of that. It was long and hard. But also one of the very key reasons was because the work program of a biomedical scientist here would require that you be at work all day for some days or morning to evening. So it's 9 to 5 kind of thing for most of the days. And I had a baby, 4 or 5 months old at the time. So it required for me to keep my baby somewhere for all day to go and work And so the job that would warrant me to do that should be a job that would pay me good enough to pay for childcare while still having something to keep for myself. So I saw that it would not be possible practicing biomedicine and doing childcare at the same time. And that's where it got me thinking of what I can do to get a job that I could work from home, or something that could enable me to have income from home. And just while I was thinking about that, I saw a friend of mine share a WirfonCloud Saturday session flyer like that of today. And I joined the call and heard more about the course, which was just to begin that September. And that is how I joined and started learning about cloud computing, doing my AWS cloud practitioner with the rest of the community. So when I joined, the initial plan was, okay, now I know that I want to practicing biotechnology here. So I need to get a job to work from home. Already I was disappointed. Oh, I've gone to college all here. This wasn't the plan for me. The intention was to get a better job after this, but now I don't think it's possible. So I'm already working against time, in my opinion. I expected to work straight after school. So in my opinion, I was already working against time. So I gave myself some time, or a time frame within which I want to be able to study this course and get a job. So that was the mindset with which I got into WirfonCloud.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I actually do remember because when you joined in September, you were one of the most curious students and just ready to take anything. But as we go along, I'm sure we're going to see more about that, about you in that curiosity. So you explaining that tells me exactly why you approached the course the way you did. But just before we continue again on your transition, it seems like there was no fear, right? When you were thinking, did you have any fear, maybe for others who have fear in starting?
So there was some fear, not fear to be able to go through the course, but fear to be able to get the job within the time frame that I had given myself.
Okay.
So I was confident, especially after I took my practitioner exams and passed. Well, I would say that after a week of attending the classes, I saw that this is something that I understood. And it's not as complex as I thought it would be. And then again, after I had passed my practitioner exams, I was confident that I would go through the Solutions Architect Associate successfully. So the fear for me wasn't diving into tech or cloud computing. The fear for me was, would I get the job after my 6 months time frame that I had given myself? Yeah.
Right. Okay. No, quite interesting, and hopefully those who having fear can see that at times you don't need that. You talked about WirfonCloud, how you join. Let's just go ahead and just talk about your WirfonCloud experience and the impact that it had in your journey. So, um, um, joining WirfonCloud and starting it. You've talked about you start with the practitioner course already, but which other courses did you do? Because I know that you came in at a time when we had not yet started doing the fundamentals straight away. So you started from the practitioner, but which other courses did you do that helped from WirfonCloud?
Yeah, so after the practitioner, I took the exams, and when I passed, I dived straight into the Solutions Architect Associate. I remember that the classes for those were scheduled a bit further after. So I think we took the exams in December, and the classes for Solutions Architect were to start around March. So because I already had a time frame on my own, I started studying the course right away while waiting for it to start, and then I'll join the others for the revision. So Solutions Architect was one of the courses that I took. And I remember, why did I take this course? Also because Prof had guided us. So after my practitioner, I think I had a call with him. I said, okay, I'm from the medical background. Now I'm going into tech. My hope is that when I get a job, it would be a job that I could work in maybe a medical industry, a pharmaceutical industry, something like that, where I could still, while doing tech, have an impact on the background from where I'm coming from. So I wanted to become a data engineer, if that makes any sense to anybody. So that's what I was thinking. I would want to do data analysis and things like that. But Prof said, okay, even before you go, before you do any of the professional certifications, solutions architect will give you a general understanding of what the AWS cloud is all about, and you'll be more comfortable after that to decide whether or not you want to go the route of data engineering or security or other role or architecture. So after that, I did the solutions architect associate course, and I passed the exams. So after I passed the exams now, I think that was already my 6 months mark. Oh, yes, it was my 6 months mark. So I gave myself another 3 months. Okay, so these 3 months now is to look for a job. But now, with the knowledge I have for solutions architect, is it enough for me to land a job? I started asking questions. What else do I need? So while I was doing the solutions architect, I was also attending the labs. I was gaining some hands-on experience as well. But apart from that, and because I was so eager to get the job, and I read through job descriptions, I saw some terminologies that I didn't understand. Version control, Git, Python, all of these things. So I asked questions. And while we were doing the hands-ons also for solutions architect, I noticed that we were not using Windows. So it was the first time that I had to install a Linux machine on my laptop. Yeah. And I had to see what another interface looked like apart from my Microsoft interface that I was so used to. So I noticed that, okay, to get the job, I'll need to know what to do with Linux, how to at least understand going through the Linux file system, finding myself around and all of that. So apart from solutions architect now, again, with the guidance of Prof, I started doing a Linux fundamental course, and that was after my solutions architect. So how fortunate is it for you all who started really from the fundamentals and are growing up gradually? So Linux and then Python. I remember there was a Python course as well that I started doing just to understand generally what programming was. And then besides that, the advanced labs helped a lot with, again, something that I didn't know anything about, like Git, Terraform, infrastructure as code, which proved to be very vital for me to get the job. So I didn't do a full Terraform course on my own. I think I watched a couple of YouTube videos. So there are some videos that say Terraform from zero to hero, things like that. So I watched those videos and then I practiced as well for during the advanced labs. And then, yes, that was it. Prof also advised that we take the CSOPs, but my mind was not to do any AWS certifications again, except I get a job. So I was hoping to get a job before I start doing CSOPs. And when I got a job, truly, I took my CSOPs exams and then other certifications later. Yeah.
No, that's really great. Especially just talk about from the skills you got, right? Which one stand out, or which one was that determining factor for you to have a job from the skills you got in WirfonCloud?
Okay. I would say presentation skills as well, or one of them. Apart from the technical skills, right? Presentation skills, team spirit, or like working in a team. Because during the advanced labs, we worked like a team. We gave ourselves tasks, we accomplished the tasks, we came and we did troubleshooting together, and we learned a lot, feeling like we're working in a real work environment. So, but for the technical skills, infrastructure as code, terraforming is very vital, is one of the skills that I could not have done without. So knowing how to do terraform or provision resources using terraform, and all of these skills I got from the advanced labs at WirfonCloud. Version control of your code, Git, knowing what that was about altogether. What do I do? Okay, now if I'm working on my laptop, you're working on your laptop, we're working on the same code. What happens to the code? That is very vital and is one of the skills that I got from WirfonCloud as well. So these two, I would say, are the major skills, technical skills that I got, together with non-technical skills, like I mentioned, presentation, communication, and working in a team.
Yeah, and I want to stress around the labs, and why I'm bringing that is we are seeing technical skills. I'm sure that is got from the labs. And one thing that was really so amazing to me during the lab sessions was when I remember, I don't know what happened, but I remember very well that there was a lot of comments coming in that yeah, that Tatiana likes to troubleshoot a lot. So when you come to the labs and other students are having challenges, you were already eager to help, right? Um, and that is where I'm saying that your curiosity, especially during the labs. I don't know what you can say for those listening now, the importance of those labs, because I'm sure later on, when you went for your job interview, it played a role. But what will you say about labs and um, to the way you put it? Yeah, what will you say about labs?
Okay, coming again from the point of, is the knowledge I've gotten from practitioner and solutions architect associate enough for me to get the job? The answer was no, right? So I knew that what needs to complement that knowledge is hands-on experience. So I took the labs very seriously. And apart from the labs that we did at WirfonCloud, I put in more effort to do personal labs, trying to understand. So I put myself, again, coming from my background, I would call myself, quote unquote, a perfectionist. I want to do something well. I don't want to be put in a place where I will not confidently do something or I will not know what to do at all. So I put myself in that position and I was imagining, okay, if you get the job today, can you at least know what to do? If you're asked to SSH into an EC2 instance, would you do that? Can you navigate through the Linux system within that instance if you successfully do that? What can you provision your resources? And we were already made to understand that we will not provision resources manually using the AWS console. Most and not if not every company does that using infrastructure as code. Can you at least confidently provision an EC to a VPC instance or I'll call it an end-to-end a 3-tier application using Terraform? So these are how should I say, the points that I had kept for myself to accomplish, to give me the confidence that I would be able to do something. At least if I don't know what they're asking me to do, I know something. And from here, the understanding grows. So I cannot overemphasize the importance of the lab. They were very, very important, very important. And just like Prof mentioned, when I went for the interview that got me my first role, because interviews are usually in some 3 stages, some 2. The second stage is usually like a workshop or a hands-on. You're given some work to do to show that you can do something. And guess what? I was asked simply to SSH into an EC2 instance and change the index file of an HTML website. So it was like copy and paste something that we had done on WirfonCloud. Can you imagine how easy that was for me? So that is something that myself, Theo, and the rest of the team, we had done several times. We had created like dummy WirfonCloud websites just to see how our work was showing result. And that's what I was asked when I went for the interview. And also the labs, I had to take them seriously because, as I mentioned, you would always be asked. Very few companies would take you through their interview process without giving you some practical work to do. So you have to know how to do something. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. No, thanks for that, and hopefully that goes well. So now, after your labs and the technical knowledge and skills, the other thing is we are slowly moving on learning your job, and you've already talked about that. But at that time, going to your job, the other thing is definitely you are going to go through. Then the question become, when do you know you are ready to go for an interview? But I remember there was the entity data program, and that we had some time here, as well as you've mentioned also the skills you had, especially with Theo guiding the labs at that time, because at that time Theo was guiding the labs before you came in to jump in that. And I think one thing I should point regarding the labs to just also show how committed Tatiana was, because when I learned about the fact that Tatiana was taking the step ahead to help others, and then Tio was doing the labs, the beginners lab, and then doing the advanced labs. So I asked Tatiana if she could volunteer to do the beginners lab, because if she was already helping, it was possible. And she accepted, and she has been volunteering in that role till date. So I think that is the passion and the curiosity, and especially with the time frame you gave yourself, that really played a big role. And remember, she's coming from a role where she didn't know cloud, but after a few months in WirfonCloud, she was already helping others, not just learning as well, which means that's very, very inspiring and very, very motivating to hear. But what about the program we had with entity data, or any other things that you got that help you? Because the other aspect of the interview is not just the technical, but how to approach the interview, right? You want to talk around that area.
Yes, the program we had with entity data came just right in time. I think it came just a month after I had passed my certification exams for solutions architect and was working on my CV. So first, the program with entity data helped me to refine the way I had written my CV, because recruiters themselves were talking to us about what they need or what they look for in the CVs of those looking for jobs. So I refined the way I had written my CV and even my LinkedIn page. They went through all of that. And I think that was the first exposure for me to a mock interview, because we were given the opportunity to have mock interviews with a real recruiter to see what they will ask you if you go to a job, when you go to a job interview. So it helped me a lot in and not just having a mock interview for having sake, having feedback on how you performed during the interview. So when I had a mock interview with a recruiter, though it was more of behavioral questions, I will not say though, because behavioral questions always keep people off. Most of the times we know our technicals very well, but when you're asked behavioral questions, you don't know what to say. We went through an interview for behavioral questions, and after the interview, I got feedback from the recruiter about how I had performed, which was good. And it helped me also to boost the confidence that, okay, I could go for real interviews now. And I also learned a lot about, because they gave us sample questions, sample behavioral questions, what recruiters would need from you, what they want to hear from you, and things like that. So that program with entity data helped a lot. And I think one thing that it also helped me with was helping me know that I could upload my CV to other platforms apart from LinkedIn. So we were told that it's okay to upload your CV to other job search websites, so that is how recruiters find those to call on to interviews. If not for that program, I would not have known. I would just keep applying by myself and hoping okay, that someone will see my application. But to expand your chance of getting called for an interview, apart from doing the applications yourself, putting up your profile on LinkedIn, you put up your profile, your CV as well to other job search websites. So they helped me with that. So preparing for the interviews as well, apart from entity data, I had one-on-ones with some of the seniors at WirfonCloud. So I had a mock interview as well with Pride. And in this, at this time, it was a technical interview, someone who has gone through the process, who is working and who probably interviewed other people and know the kind of things that he will be asked. So I can't remember quite well if he gave me the questions beforehand or if I had researched to see the kind of questions that I could be asked during an interview. But I went through the interview with Pride as well. And he told me that I was very confident in the way I spoke, which is very good. Even if you don't know everything during the interview, what you know, be confident. Show that you know something, which is very important. And when you don't know, acknowledge that you do not know. It might be something that you still need to learn. Nobody knows everything. So these are the things that I learned before I went for my first interview. Through talking with Pride and Theo and other seniors at WirfonCloud. So that's the preparation I took before I went for the first interview. The other preparation was applying and never stop applying. So I applied for so many roles and I received so many, unfortunately, if people understand what that means. There are sometimes you just send your application and before it gets there, you receive a response. Unfortunately, you've not been chosen, but that doesn't stop you if you've set a goal for yourself. Yeah, and I also went for interviews that I didn't get jobs. So I went for an interview and the practical part of the interview was for me to solve a Python problem. Mind you, I had not done Python deeply, so I could not do it. And of course, but I was happy with the experience because I went through the technical and it was good enough for them to call me for the second phase. Because if you don't go through the first phase successfully, you're not called for the second interview. So I was proud of myself that my first interview, at least I was called to come for the second round. The second round, I couldn't go through because of Python. And of course, I would not do the job if I go there because I can't work with Python. So it's preferable I don't go through. Yeah, so that's happening for me.
Right. No, it's really so nice. And you mentioned Pride, and I want to comment on Pride for those of you who also, most of you don't know Pride, but Pride also joined WirfonCloud. Also, when Pride gave his, if you go to look at the YouTube channel, you see his own testimony as well. Pride never, he also didn't have a background, even work experience. He just arrived in UK. He got into cloud, then joined WirfonCloud, and he was with the first group that did the projects. And he's also one of the first people that from this group. Most people always get cloud engineer roles, but he's one of the first from cloud to work as a cloud architect. So that is also the importance of the community that we continue to build, and we're always happy realizing that those who have been here continue to give support because we are trying to create where the same people will come from the same background. It's easy to communicate here. You can easily relate, and that's also the emphasis I can also be sharing. Networking does not start out of WirfonCloud, right? You start it here. So I would just like you can see Tatiana making use of opportunities. You have heard Tio speak today. You have to make that move to see if you can build a network with him. You have seen Tatiana here. We've had the approach in WirfonCloud is always you have someone to talk to, right? And just like you have someone to talk to tomorrow, you will be talking back to someone as well. So that is the culture and the way we are trying to build here WirfonCloud. So that I just wanted to bring Pride into the picture, knowing that he came through here, and then of course he became guiding you into that first interview, because that's always a shaky part. You get an interview and then you are worried. How are you going to go to? Who can you talk to that you know? Not to take more of that, you're already talking about the interview process, but do you want to just talk about the application phase again? Can you just expand and maybe how in your how when you did got and then maybe you can talk about the applications process and then talk about for the job that you had, right? What do you think happened in that case? The application you sent and yeah, because that's always the process that people struggle with and things like rejection, how to handle that. So yeah, just talk about the application process, how you felt during that time and how you prepared.
Okay, thank you. So I applied, I applied to several jobs, so many of them. And I had put up my CV on several job search websites and on LinkedIn as well. Um, it is not easy to go through the application phase because for each job, you might need to write you have to write a different cover letter. I don't know if it's a thing in the US, but here in the UK, when you're applying for a job, your CV is not enough. So you put in your CV and you put in a cover letter. Why should actually telling the recruiter or the company why they should take you for this role, why you want to do this, why you think you're a good fit for the role. So every role is not the same. Different job descriptions. You would want to talk differently for one role and then for the other something else. So it's hard work having to write several cover letters and being patient, applying, even when you get rejections. You know, there are roles that you see whose job descriptions say everything that you can do, and you're so excited applying. And just a few minutes after you apply, you're rejected. So the idea is not to get discouraged, is to keep applying and keep in contact with recruiters. Good. This is something I forgot to mention about entity data. One thing they taught us during our time with them is that reach out to recruiters on LinkedIn. You go, you search for recruiters, you would always see recruiters. Ask them if they are having any roles that they are currently recruiting for. Send them your CV and say you're interested or you're currently looking for a role. So that is one thing that I did. But for the job that I got, I actually did not apply for that role. The recruiter reached out to me and it was a senior role. So when the recruiter reached out to me, I didn't think I would respond to that recruiter at all because I wasn't applying for senior. Well, I applied for senior roles when I saw that the job description was comfortable, but I didn't apply to a lot of senior roles. But this recruiter reached out to me and I was wondering why the recruiter is reaching out to me for this senior role with this job description. So I didn't respond. Imagine you're applying for roles and then a recruiter finally reaches out and you don't respond immediately. So I had to take some time to think about it. I think I thought for a day or two and then I responded to the recruiter and said, okay, actually discussed with somebody that, oh, this recruiter has reached out to me for a senior role in Cambridge and I don't think I can do it. What should I do? So they encouraged me to respond to the recruiter. There's no harm in going for the interview and even not making it. Right. So I reached out and I was called for an interview. I had the first stage of the interview, which went through successfully. And I was called to come into the office for the practicals. So in my head, I said, okay, they wouldn't even allow me to do these practicals in my home, so I fail by myself in the house. They're calling me to their office. So I went there, and luckily for me, it was troubleshooting an EC2 instance issue with the EBS volume and things like that. So I was able to do it, and it was more conversational with the manager was granting me the interview. So he was asking me, so I think the task of SSHing into an instance, mounting a volume and changing the index.html file was just to see if I could navigate through a Linux system. So most of it now was conversational. Have you done this? Have you worked with this tool? Have you worked with Terraform, TerraGrants? It was the first place I heard about TerraGrants. What have you done? What kind of resources have you built? Where have you gotten your experience from? So it was more of conversational. And then I went back home when he said I was going to hear from them. And when I got back home, I was sent a mail that I have the third stage of the interview. So it meant I had gone through the second stage. I think even before I left the office, he told me that I was going to have so he told me already that he likes me and that he was going to hire me. And that, but I will have another stage of the interview with his manager, and I shouldn't worry. It doesn't matter the outcome of that stage. He calls the shot. The manager is just going to be behavioral and just talk with me to see if I can work with if he can work with me and other team members together. So I was already happy that I'd gotten a job, but okay, now it's new and I still have one interview. So I think on my way back, I talked with Pride again and told him what had happened. And I was asking him, because I was sure that they were going to ask me about salary expectations and things like that. So I went there and I spoke with Pride and he told me what I could say about salary and all of that. But after the interview, he didn't talk about the salary and I didn't ask either. And at the end of the interview, I think he expected for me to ask because he asked if I was very sure that there wasn't something I had forgotten to talk about. And I intentionally said there was nothing and just sat quiet and waited for the offer. So he said, okay. And they sent me the offer. And this was the reason the reason I did that was because it's the first job. I will not want to negotiate for a lower salary because of what I think I know, while they might be paying for something high. And truly, if I were asked to propose what I should be paid, I would have proposed something lower because of the level of skills that I had. But it was a senior role and they were paying more. So yeah, that's how it went for the first job.
Yeah. Right. I mean, you've taken us through that process, which is so interesting, especially, and I think for everyone listening, you have heard so much Tatiana has mentioned about LinkedIn, right? Having the right LinkedIn profile, reaching out to recruiters. We have always mentioned these important things that you should have. Don't underestimate your LinkedIn profile. Don't underestimate what you are posting on your LinkedIn profile. If you are doing something, post, because for a recruiter to look at your LinkedIn profile and have that feeling that let me reach out to you, they must have seen something in it that they like, because there are many LinkedIn profiles that are basically empty. At times you realize that many people don't yet know the power of LinkedIn. That's just what the way I'll put it, because if you're on LinkedIn and you don't really have a really attractive profile, you are looking for a job, then you are not doing good. You are not doing any good for yourself. So I hope we are also taking this aspect of having a good LinkedIn profile. You are applying jobs. You have heard already that it could be you have rejections, but it's not mean you shouldn't give up. But you need just that one call, all right? You don't need to have all the jobs. So, and it could come by a recruiter approaching you. We've also had the aspect of troubleshooting. You can't learn troubleshooting in class. We do the theories, we do the labs, but if you are just watching, you think you know, right? You need to practice it. I think there was a question today on the AWS, and I think I was congratulating one of the students who just at least configure an instance and move to it. So the next stage is what next. So doing personal labs, right? You follow the labs that we have done. Once you had that experience, you start challenging yourself and doing even much more complex labs. And you can hear the importance of Linux. For those who have not done the Linux set classes, we'll definitely be getting back to that. But you hear the whole thing of navigating Linux and being able to mount an EBS volume, which is something not so complex. I want, maybe before we move to the next area about maybe talking about the role of certifications and career growth. Um, but with all of this so far, when you are just thinking, you are talking about these things, and I know there are some people who don't know what SSH is, what, just like when you came the first time it was, but will you say this is difficult?
I would say no, it's not difficult.
Right.
It's not difficult, and I would say I didn't expect the interview to be that easy. So I didn't expect that the things that we do for the lab is the same thing that we do at the job, but it's exactly the same. What we do during the WirfonCloud labs is exactly the same thing that you do at your job. You might just do it repeatedly, or you do it in a higher volume, or or you do it in a different environment, or you do it now minding that you have different environments to worry about. So
Mhm.
it's exactly the
Yeah.
same. The concept doesn't change, I would say. It's
Mm.
same concept.
Yeah. I know it's very, you are saying it's easy because you did it, you even help others, and it became very normal. And I know that for those who really put their mind to it, they then will also realize that it's easy. So the key thing is do that lab that you are postponing to do today, not tomorrow, right? So that's really the main thing we want to emphasize there. Throughout, you have not heard Tatiana said her certifications, right? But what role did certifications play then? If you had a certification and you have not yet talked about your certification, do you want to shed light on that?
Yes, so for someone coming from a non-tech background like me, I think certification was what got me into interviews, right? Because I was thinking, if if I don't take these certifications, what then will I put on my CV? Or because when you see roles and when you see the roles being advertised, they say minimum qualifications, bachelor's in computer sciences. I've not done computer sciences. So what have I done? I've done this AWS certification. I've passed the exams. So that for me is the only thing I can show on my CV to tell a recruiter that I have an idea, I have knowledge about these things that you said. Otherwise, for me, it would not have been easy, right? Especially for anyone who is coming from a non-tech background. So yes, I think during the conversations, um, for the second stage of the interview, my manager asked me about the certifications. He asked me what certifications I had taken, if was planning to take others, and I told him about it. And at the time, he had not even taken the Solutions Architect Associate certification himself because he's from a tech background. He has worked in tech all through. So cloud computing is something coming. He knows how to work in the cloud, but maybe the certification is not as important for him as it would be for me coming from a completely non-tech background. So what I would say about certifications is that they boost your CV, right? So even when you build your LinkedIn profile and you say AWS certified, that puts your CV up for recruiters to see because they know the weight of the courses that you've done to be able to pass the certification. For anyone to pass certification means you have studied. You have not just passed, you've studied to pass, so you've gained knowledge in the process. So yeah, certifications helped in that regard, I would say.
Yeah, great, great. And from what I understand now, your current job is different from the first one. Do you want to talk about talk about the first job and how you had to transition to this next one for others to understand? Yeah.
So yes, the first job, as I mentioned, was a senior role, right? So of course, if you're coming to a role as a senior, there is some expectation. Um, about my team, it was a team of just 4. So there's no broadband for training so much and all of that. There were little tasks for me to do, documentation, um, there's usually something we call service desk tickets. I don't know, the cloud team helping other teams to troubleshoot issues with applications that the teams are using. So I was doing more of that in that job and very few of deliverables. I was in the job for 5 months. So in the 5th month, I was given a task. I think it was to mount an EFS file system. And I messed it up. It was in a production environment. I've not worked in a production environment before in my life, before that time. And again, I was working from home. So there was no much of communication, not so many people to run to, and I messed it up. And just at that time, the company was closing down its offices in Lithuania or either Lithuania or Estonia. So it's like there was redundancy going on. So, and I had not gone through my how do you call it? Probation. The probation was 6 months. I was in the 5th month. So I was laid off from that job. I was laid off from the job on the 5th month. I cried. Oh my God. I cried, but yes, until I got the second job, I understood why I would not have grown very much in the job in the first one. So when I lost that job, on the day I was told that I have a week to the end of my contract, I quickly downloaded all the took out all the resources. So the new resources or things that I had learned from the job, because there's usually things that you keep in your computer that help you grow, right? New things that you've learned. So I downloaded all of those stuff to my personal laptop, and I started applying for a role that same day. I started applying for the job the very day that I was told, before I had to go and drop off my laptop. So I wasn't ready to back down for anything. And I applied and spoke this time around with many more. It's like when they see on your profile that you've worked before or that you're working, that's when so many more recruiters call you. So I spoke with many more recruiters this time and attended many more interviews this time as well. And I finally got the second role. So the second role, let me think, did I apply for this one? Tech. No, still I did not apply. So still a recruiter reached out to me about this role and asked if I was available for an interview. And I said, yes, I had the interview, went through the first, this time around, 2 stages. Yes, so just 2 stages of interview, and I had the job and I was given the offer. And this time around, the interview was very easy for me to go through because I was more confident. I was talking again with some experience of what a real work environment was. And I went through and I joined a team this time around that was wider and a team that offers more support, if I should say. So a team that has a more organized documentation platform. So usually in a team, if you're asked to do a task or a role, maybe something that has been done before, there is somewhere for you to refer to, or at least some standards that you should follow. These are all the resources that might have been there in the first role, but no one had the time yet to show me because of the small nature of the job, the fast pace of the business. Everyone was concentrated on delivery. So now I was given 2 weeks just to go through documentation, standards, AWS standards, company standards. This is a company that is working with finance, standards of the financial companies and things like that. So I took my time to digest all of this and understand, okay, this is what they do about encryption. This is what they do when it comes to storing secrets. This is what they do when it comes to branching so they are using Bitbucket. Their branching system is this way. And all of that is documented. So it was easy for me to understand. Even after reading the documentation, what was my first task in the job? My first task in the job was it was a manual task to get resources that were not tagged on the AWS platform. So I was able to use a manual tool on AWS. So the next task was for me to create a common module of MSK Kafka. So this is something that the company has not used before, but I had to go through Terraform myself, see what Kafka is, create a common module that other people would use. So the company doesn't use public module, a common module that other people would use. And I was able to do this, and I was supported, and I was appreciated for the work I did. So again, the environment and the team has boosted my skills and knowledge. So when I say I cried, but now I know why I would not have grown in the other role is because I see the amount of growth that I have here. So within my probation period in the other role was 6 months. I did 5 months and was laid off. My probation in this role was for 3 months, and I passed the probation on the second month. So I didn't even go through 3 months, and I was told that you're now permanent because of the quality of the team and how they helped me to be productive. So yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
No, quite amazing there. And this is one thing I'll say regarding the great thing about IT, the way which maybe I always like everyone should have the mindset. If you are good in IT, just like they say in football, a good player never lacks a team, right? If you're a very good football player, there will always be clubs coming to buy you. And it's the same thing with IT. If you are good, your LinkedIn profile will always be filled with messages upon messages about possibilities. But just think about this and reflect on other careers. It is only IT that have this great growth. I'm talking now maybe for new people or for people still doubting. It is only the field of technology that has a very high growth rate where if you invest in technology, you always reap the benefit. You know, I know you just study medical about technology, but if you, I don't, I know we have not talked about salaries, but I'm sure there's a big difference, right? If you ended up doing that master's program, continued in it, and what you had with cloud, I'm sure the gap in salary is much, yeah. Yeah. So that's the other thing about technology for those starting and doubting, or for those still not sure whether they should continue. It is the only fast playing place where even if you lack a job today and if you are good, there's another job waiting for you. And but I also want to comment on the fact of, this is also something. And interestingly, I've had an experience also where when I was still also early in my job, and I actually did, I always say I zipped a file that was not supposed to be done. But then the difference here was it was a more of a supportive environment, right? So what happened was they realized, and I remember some of my colleagues were laughing and saying, everyone always get this baptism, because immediately you make that mistake, and I think you get into this, it makes you think different. You approach work from a different manner because you start realizing the cost of making a mistake. And then you also do adapt in the way, your problem in approaching something. And that's why, and like you say, it was the first time for the production environment. In most cases, you see that before a change is implemented, you see like 3, 4 people having to cross-check or having to approve that this should be done, or having to look at the steps and ensure that there is no process. And when you did say you were at home, that also brings out the disadvantage of, we all like remote work, but when you are at home and something happens like that, that's where the world becomes so, so small. But if you're in an office setting, you can always talk. So there are always advantages and disadvantages. And when you are starting as a new person, you should always try to have this balance, how much you should work from home, how much you should go to the office, especially if you are still completely new. So um, it's a very great story, but I don't know how, when that happened, I don't know the importance of the community again. Did you have that possibility to talk to people just to like, okay, this has happened, what's the next step? Yeah. And how that
yeah.
community, what the importance of community did to you during that period?
Yes, of course. Just before I answer that question, one other thing that I needed to mention was that after the incident at the first job, my skill of questioning everything that I do, that skill increased, or it grew. So asking questions became something that I did, being very careful. Am I supposed to do this? Even though the documentation says Because actually the issue that happened was I rebooted an instance. And that is what the AWS documentation says. When you mount an EFS, you need to reboot. But the error was that I rebooted an instance that had been running for years. And so for that instance to come back, it installed new software or new versions that the instance or the applications did not support. And that's where the break came in. So I increased the way I asked questions, increase the questions that I asked when I'm doing any task. And again, as you mentioned, working in a production environment is not something that anyone, I'm talking now from the experience in my new workplace, anyone just comes in and works in a production environment. No. Before you make a change, a small change as adding a security group rule to a security group of a prod service, it goes through a change management system that can take you a week. So again, environment. Yes, and when it happened, I had the support of WirfonCloud. So I kept it to myself for some time. But after a while, I spoke to Prof, I spoke to Tio. And during that period when I was applying, so during the 3 months between, I spoke to Prof and he encouraged me to apply for the AWS Technical Account Manager role, which was currently going on, and also gave me the support of giving me a reference for the new role I got. So when I had an interview for the new role, I was asked for references, right? And I came back to, of course, WirfonCloud. I will not go back to ask for my other company that laid me off. WirfonCloud is the company that I know, and I got the reference from here, and it helped me to land the second role. Also, I applied for the AWS Technical Account Manager role, which also helped me to study a lot in order just to go through the interview. Even though I didn't make it after in the second round, but I went through and I learned a lot. So yeah, the community is always there to fall back, talk, say, okay, this is what has happened. What can I do? That someone can have a role currently in their company or know someone somewhere that they can refer you to, and you have a role or a job to apply. So that's how the community came in for me during that time.
No, well, that's really good to know. And just picking up from there, I just want to say that please keep your comments or if any questions coming. We'll be discussing now about WirfonCloud Consulting, which okay, Tatiana is still part of it, and then we'll be wrapping up very soon with some. She'll be giving some final advice and encouragement. I hope many of you have some questions or things you want to bring in as well. But we are happy that, I mean, from the day you came to WirfonCloud, you've always been here, and which is something, despite the schedule you have, you still create time to do the labs with the students, volunteering. And I keep emphasizing volunteering. For maybe people will be thinking that maybe we are paying you for coming in every Wednesdays. It's volunteering just to help others. So, but and then the other thing is we started with WirfonCloud Consulting, which was something new. And you also been part of that very first group. We had a whole 1 year doing lots of things. But how will you want to talk about WirfonCloud Consulting? What has it done, just keeping you on track in your cloud journey?
Yeah, so WirfonCloud Consulting was that platform for me to keep me in a continuous study mode. Right. So because at consulting, you are accountable, you set goals, that goals of things that you want to achieve. There are mandatory goals and then goals of things you want to achieve for a period of time. And you're accountable to the consulting group that this is what I've done so far. This is what I'm doing. And you also talk to other people who are engaged in studying or doing other things that can encourage you to do them as well. So it was a platform for me to continuously study. And I would always mention the jams, AWS jam sessions when I talk about it from cloud consulting, because it gave me the opportunity to do sessions. So with my AWS community builder, accounts, I was able to register for various live AWS courses. So courses where AWS is teaching to people all around the world, all around Europe, learn with other people. Also motivate myself because you see people all around the world trying to gain this knowledge about AWS from every nook and cranny. So what's stopping you? Everybody wants to get the knowledge, and this is how far people have gone. You go for the classes and see that this person already knows about this or that. You don't know, so it's something for you to learn. And then the jam sessions and the practical sessions or the hands-on, because they're usually lab sessions that are allowed for you to do maybe for a period of a week or two. Lab sessions, those were also helpful to continue building my skills. Jam sessions, you go there, it's like a game, but you're actually building infrastructure or troubleshooting issues. So all of that were very important to me. And just recently, I was invited by my company to come and attend a game day. So when they say game day, the only thing that comes to my mind now is jam session, because that's something similar to what I've had before, and it was only through the consulting group that I had that opportunity. So yes, it's a platform to be accountable for your growth and to continuously grow and learn. Yeah.
No, that's really absolutely great. And of course, I think you wanted to also talk about the study groups that also push you, yeah?
Yeah. So during the consult, well, within consulting and out of consulting, there are always study groups in WirfonCloud, and they played a very vital role. First of all, the labs for me was my primary study group, and I took it seriously. But outside the labs, there were one-to-one sessions that I would have with you. I would bid for his time to have time with you, just to troubleshoot something or to understand something that I might have seen on the internet, and I'm unable to do it by myself. Maybe a lab that I've seen someone do, I've done it and I'm stuck somewhere because of limited knowledge in batch or Git or something. And so he'll be there to offer me his time and take me through all of that. And that is how I grew. And we had one-to-one sessions as well, preparing for the CSOPs exams, preparing for Kubernetes, and which other exams. So we study together, come together and talk, do hands-ons together, which is very important because you have people to come and be accountable for. Because later on it became like, okay, we each have tasks to do. So Tio gives us tasks. You're to create this VPC using, you're to create a VPC using Terraform. You are provisioning an EC2 instance, you RDS, you that, and we all come at the end of the week and say, okay, this is what I've done. Can you review my code? Is it okay? So it's like a work environment, and then you're accountable to that group, and it pushes you to learn, and in the process you're growing. So learning in the entire group is important. We're also having one-to-one sessions. You can find an accountability partner, somebody with whom you both can draw a program. Okay, let's learn this tool or that tool. So today we are doing this and tomorrow that. So even if you are weak tomorrow, that person comes to remind you, you're accountable, you need to do it. Because on your own, sometimes you want to give up. But when you have someone to be accountable to, you keep pushing. Yeah.
Yeah. No, thank you very much. I really wanted that, especially that conversation on group studies, because in the current cohort, we've have group studies, and hopefully those in the groups listening to this start seeing how important it is, because working in any environment, just always know that you can be put on the spotlight to talk about your task. So it's the same thing like, so the group studies here are giving you that opportunity to start learning how to talk. right? Aaron was here 2 weeks ago, and he did talk about you need to learn to speak the language, and that's the same thing. So the group studies are there to give everyone the opportunity in a very small group of 4 or 5 people to practice how to talk, and then later on you start, start expanding. And the other thing that Tatiana has mentioned, the fact that even apart from the formal classes we have and the group studies, connecting with someone that you can always have like your accountability partner, right? Maybe discuss about something you are doing. One-on-one discussions is very important. So don't build your network. It goes back to really take time to build your network here. Find people you are working with. Don't be studying on your own and feeling that, okay, as you are pushing this thing on your own. The cloud is always teamwork. If you get into any environment, you have to be you have to be so good and a guru that the company cannot do without you, that they'll allow you to be isolated. Because the whole thing about working in any company is really about teamwork. It's always a project with many people playing, and so it's great to hear what has happened, how you took this very serious. I think you're an example of what anyone coming can look into and should approach the studies. But as we are rounding up, I think we should talk about your congratulations again on being admitted as AWS Community Builder. And I know that many people will be wondering what that is, but definitely maybe you want to say something about that. And I know it's still just maybe 1 month or so, but just go ahead and speak about that. Then we'll move on to two. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, Uncle Ben. And this is after several times of applying, right? I think I've applied twice,
Yeah.
3 times, so just the third time was I admitted. Thank you. So AWS Community Builder again is a group of AWS community builders. I don't know how to explain it. So people who are building the AWS community all around the world, who are contributing to letting people know more about AWS cloud and how to use the cloud and how to use AWS resources. So that's the community basically, and it's a big networking platform. That's the first thing I'll identify it to be. You'll be networking with people from everywhere around the world who are doing something similar like you. So you have a wider range of people to talk to about your skills, or maybe something you're struggling with or you're trying to do, and get response from people all over. And I think there are a range of resources as well that are available to AWS community builders to help them grow, continue learning, because as they learn, they are building the community as well. So yeah, it's just
Yeah.
been a few weeks, as Prof said, and I'm just starting my journey as a
Yeah.
recognized builder now. Yeah.
Right. No, we are very happy, and I notice also Yaki is here. Also now in WirfonCloud, we have now 8 to 9 community builders. We are hoping that more people will pick up and continue going from that angle and really make good use of that. So maybe we have really talked so much, and I know it's almost 1 hour. Time really flies. Maybe let's be just rounding up with some final advice and encouragement. So, if you were to go back, what advice will you give yourself before starting? Now that you have gone through this journey, if you were to go back, what what could you have done different?
Okay. Just before I respond to that, I wanted to hammer a little bit about the teamwork that you talked about, and just giving a scenario. Within my team, we have sub teams. So we have the cloud team and we have sub teams within the team. And after every 2 weeks, of course, we'll have a sprint review. So we were asked, my team, so my sub team was asked what the secret behind our success is. And everyone said at the same time that it was teamwork. So that's just to reiterate that working in the tech and in the cloud environment, teamwork is very important. You need to know how to work with people and understand how working with people help you and help others. So it's very important to work in a team, and that just goes to emphasize the group studies and the one-to-one groups that you can create and work. Okay, now if I were to go back, what would I advise myself? What I would tell myself is that I should not give up ever. And I think I told myself that and I didn't give up. But yes, I would tell myself that this is a journey to start and take to the end. Do not stop. Do not get discouraged, right? You just keep going. It's not smooth, it's not easy, but it's possible. This is something you can do. It's not how do we call it? A rocket science. Yes, so you can do it, keep going, and you'll get there. And I think I told myself all of this, and that's why I got there. So I don't know what else I should have told myself
Yeah.
apart from this, and stay
Mhm.
in the community. Yes. So if I had done this without WirfonCloud, I'm not sure I would have gone to the end. So, but the community was a pillar behind which I stood, which took me through. So yes. So if I had done this maybe by myself, I would have said, "Oh no, no, don't do this by yourself. Do it within the community again." Because I've emphasized on the teamwork, the group, and all of this. You need people around to be with you on the same train. Yeah.
Mhm. No, no, that's great. And what would you say for someone attending today and thinking about joining with WirfonCloud, if
I'll
it's still a
say
thought for them?
I'll say join right away. Join right away, right now, just like I did. I didn't think twice. Join right away is the right thing. As I assure you, it's the right thing to do. It's not going to be all roses, but there's going to be a lot of singing at the end. Right? There's going to be a lot of praises at the end. Join right away. Do not give up at any point. Do not give up. You can stop, but continue. You can fall, but make sure you stand up. Don't stay fallen, right? Just keep going. Keep going. It will only get you only don't get to the final point when you give up somewhere. But start and do not stop. Be
Absolutely.
motivated. Have a goal that you want to achieve. Have a goal
Yeah.
that you want to achieve, and you
Yeah.
achieve it.
No, it's really always, I mean, talking with you, and for everyone, Tatiana means that one who joined with on cloud and in 9 months had a job. She holds the record of the starting from September, and before the next September, she was already working, and it's already in her second job. Have gained so much experience, have been leading. Lots of many of you have seen what she has been doing in the labs. So, I mean, I think we are very, very happy. And maybe before I conclude, maybe there's something I didn't ask, but if there's something you want to say, your final word, or maybe talk about what is your future, what is it in your mind that you are looking forward to study or to get into, just give some concluding words, then we hear from every other person. Thank you.
Okay, so um, I think apart from data engineering or a data scientist, when I joined, the other thing was security for me. So yes, I'm still on the path of security, and currently I'm a security SME at my workplace. So I'm trying to know more about the security tools. I'm not doing cyber security, but I want to ensure that if I'm left with a cloud environment, I can swear that it is secured. I've put all the measures in place to ensure that it's secured, because cyber attack is real and no company would want to go through that. So I think that is it. That's the path for me. I'm putting
Yeah.
more effort into understanding the different security tools, and the company is helping me as well. So that's the way forward for me.
Mhm.
Maybe I become
And
a cloud security specialist tomorrow.
oh, that's great. With Unclear, we'll be happy to have someone again in security from this. And but before I go, since there's a lot of discussion around AI How is it influencing your workplace? Do you want to mention that?
Yes, please. We're already using Amazon Q at my workplace, guys. So AI is real. Well, we are still doing the test. So we have an enterprise, right? So we've been given 3 months to use the subscription and report. So we need to convince the company that this is helping us in our day-to-day work. So a few people have been given the license, and one of them, I use it in my Terraform, and I was working with a strange provider called Databricks this last and it has helped me a lot. So it's not HashiCorp as we know, not Terraform, but I had to work with
Yeah,
Databricks, and AI has helped me a lot with that. So AI
great.
is the way to go. Everyone is talking about it. You just cannot do without it anymore. So yeah,
Agree.
we are using Amazon Q already, and just enhances your work. But there are some times that you don't want to go to Google and start reading a number of pages to find out the solution for a simple troubleshoot. And people will report that a task that would have taken them 2 to 3 days, AI has given them an answer in 5 minutes. Yes, especially those who do Python. It
Mhm.
just writes the code for you and you just go and do small bits and that's it. So
Absolutely.
that's great.
Yeah. Yeah. No, no, I think this is really great words. I know we can have this conversation can really go for long, but since we have this amount of time, you were talking about Amazon Q and I was smiling because that's one thing about getting to the AWS community builder group because most of the services are tested in that environment. And I remember when they sent that out for us to test, it was just an interesting experience. And like you say, AI is real. It helps you become a better engineer. As they say, those without AI knowledge will be replaced with those who have AI knowledge. Those are some of the things we are planning to do also in the consulting group this year, really put more emphasis on AI and machine learning. But for those of you in your journey, you are definitely on the right path. Once you build that solution knowledge on solutions, after you do the solutions architect associate, then we'll of course move to the other steps. So I'll be looking at some of the questions that have come in, and there are some. Remember Theo Erin mentioned earlier, very important. The thing is not that difficult if you are determined, right? So if anyone is determined and consistent, it's not easy. There's thanks to our very own lab professor Theo. I think many of you who have been to the labs have known how Theo has been very patient, and of course. I mean, if Tatiana was able to get into the labs, you need someone who could have been that good to kind of let you also see how to do it. And she just picked up and continued and with what was also happening. But there's a question that came up, which is always the difficult one. How did you manage? There's a question here from Tio. How did you manage with time, given you had a 4 month, yeah, 4 months old child?
Yes, so I will not say it was easy, but of course, I managed, right? Luckily, our classes are held at 4 a.m. or 4:30 a.m. UK time. Sometimes the baby is sleeping, other times when I wake up, she's awake. So I hold her and we're studying together, right? And that's just it. So it would not be like a normal nursing mother who would rest sometimes when the baby is resting during the day or so. No. So those little moments when the baby is taking a nap, you want to use 30 minutes to see what you missed um during the morning session or to go through a tutorial or that. So the littlest time, if that is English, the smallest time I had, I maximized it, right? Every little time I had, I maximized it. Anytime that the baby was calm or resting, I'll use it to study something. And there are times that I would study at night, even though I know that after studying and laying down, when I just want to lay in my head, the baby wakes up. So it's not easy, but again, there was a time frame of 6 months. Come on, you have to do it.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's really, really tough. And I remember, of course, like we always say, for most people in here, um, we used to encourage. I remember when you bring the baby to the sessions, and we'll be saying cloud baby,
Yeah,
and
cloud baby.
yes, and we have always said no one should really ever feel uncomfortable that if you have a baby, you come and they're disturbing. Many people have always jumped in here. I think Shulika also in the US. I remember when we were doing in the very first group as well. Shulika is also part of this WirfonCloud. She's an enterprise architect now, from diplomat to enterprise architect. But normally she used to also have her kids around here. So we try to also make sure that we accommodate. And there is a question here from Christian trying to know how just wanted to ask if you studied full time prior to your first role, or you had to multitask like like the rest of them, because adult education sometimes is complicated and difficult. So he's trying to evaluate and measure the time he's putting, right? So maybe uh, were you also doing some work at that time, or how was your situation? Yeah.
Okay, Christian, no, I wasn't doing any work. The work was the baby, right? Because I was home with the baby all day. Yes, I
Mhm.
wasn't going out to do any work, but I was a full-time stay-at-home mom. So I would take care of the house, take care of the baby, cook, do everything that someone who is a mom would do. But again, I was finding time to study. And again, the advantage that I mentioned is that the classes were early in the morning. So even before it's done, you've already learned something. It's already an hour, 30 minutes of knowledge that you've gained. And then during the day now, you just want 30 minutes, 1 hour to look at a quick tutorial or to go through some questions about the session that you had. So that was it for me.
Right. Great. Some congratulations words here from Yaki, saying, yeah, congratulations. Cheers to more wins, growth ahead. Blanche is thanking you for sharing. Rosemary says it's inspirational. Linda here is also appreciating it. Please feel free. You can come off and speak now. I think there's so much here. There's Steve Tech here. I'm not sure. Yeah, thank you. He's also saying, thank you for truly inspiring as a beginner. As a beginner, what are the requirements to be able to study WirfonCloud? I think we'll send the link. Also, we'll send the link to join. But the key thing is to join the Telegram group. You have most of that information, right? So the link is coming to you straight to Steve, or if leave your Gmail address, maybe send that directly in case you miss that. But we'll send that to you. Right. So please come out and maybe clap hands if you want to, or make a big shout for Tatiana. So, uh,
Yes, Prof, but I just want to take the opportunity to shout out to Tatiana that see how somebody is shining now. Really.
I say
So,
that Tatiana was not shining before. I'm pulling
eh?
your legs
No,
here.
from
Yeah.
that, this shining is another shining now. So I'm saying, see how
Okay.
the shining has changed. Eh?
I know,
So,
right?
yeah,
Tatiana is
yeah.
now, of course, a senior,
Mhm.
no
So,
longer a junior, right? That senior role now, you can go back and take and show them what you are capable of.
yes. Yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's really now, how can I say, an inspirational journey. And the one thing I really want to remind people here is that at the end of the day, whatever we from cloud does depends on your determination to succeed. Like Tatiana says, you have to do certain things on your own, and if you don't put in that time, we from cloud does its part, it will still not be enough. So please, and also, it's not a bed of roses, but it's doable. So it's doable. And that's why we're here to help you navigate the path you, that we are already aware of. And you just have to do your own little part. So you don't have to have background in technology, computer science. You don't have to have. I think I hope there are many more stories that will come up, journeys stories of the journey to the cloud that will come up. That you would also see people who didn't even have a background in science. At least Tatiana is coming from a science background, who have gotten to the cloud. So it's something that you have to put in your own effort, and once you do that, just be patient, keep learning, keep upskilling, and you get there. So thank you, Tatiana, for bringing back the story and sharing with us, and also inspire. Of course, it's not the end of the journey for you as well as for me. Most of us are also still growing in our career. So it's this one is just to say this is how I got from zero to where I am now, and I am still going forward. The sky is not the limit. We would create a new limit, break the glass ceiling, as some people say. Or what? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just hearing this also. I think I've been more also inspired to maybe give a little more commitment to WirfonCloud as soon as I get the time. The first half of the year is not easy for me, but yeah, I would try to give more time, find more time as the opportunity show. Yeah. So, and yeah, hopefully I meet many more people. And like, also another thing, please recommend and continue encouraging your peers to join, to participate, to take advantage of this platform. Don't hesitate. Give your best, and something will come out of it. Yeah. So, and people are here. There are a lot more people here who are ready to just hold your hands to get there. So that's all I wanted to ask. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tia. Thanks so much. And this would not have happened. I think I mentioned your name like 1,000 times during my journey
I
because
have also improved
Tia
because
was
of
my
it.
body. Yeah.
Your accountability partner,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that is great. No, I mean, we have been always happy until, I mean, I know we always say this, but it's always been very great. I remember also it was the same thing when we approached you to start the lab sessions because the work was getting, there was already a lot of load. And yeah, Theo picked up the lab sessions and just ran away with it. You know, I couldn't even pass at the labs again. And that really just says so much about this community, which is just what we need, you know, that the fact that people can come here and really give their best. You can hear Theo really say he wants to bring back, I mean, the year has been very challenging, but he's ready to be back and give that, to do that again. So Tatiana has been giving all her best to support many of you here. That's really something that we can build. I think when I look at the vision of WirfonCloud, I've always said that when we started the consulting group, the key thing was we should reach at a point where we can, at some point, there could be a project somewhere, and we're able to take that project and know that there are enough people in WirfonCloud capable of executing that project. And if we win it, then we do it, and then it becomes much more easier for us. So the current goal now is training, building a community, having networks. But the bigger vision is we want to reach at a point where we from cloud can go somewhere and say, yeah, we have this number of solutions architects, security engineers, we have this number of cloud engineers with 4 or 5 years experience, we can execute this job. And hopefully during that time, if you are working anywhere, we can tell you we have caught an elephant. Do you want a big chunk or you want to remain getting a small salary where you are? Because the truth is, at times when you appreciate the salary you are being paid, and then when you understand how much the companies are making, you realize that that salary was just some chicken change you got. We hope we reach that vision, but you can only do that if you have a group, right? You can't do that alone. So that is our vision I was talking and we'll be hearing. But before we continue, I see that Clover has a question for Tatiana about averagely how many hours in a week is required to put in if you want to do the certification within 6 months. I think apart from Tatiana answering
Okay.
that, yeah, go ahead.
So what I would say is that let no day pass without you studying something. In my case, right, I didn't have, as a mom, you don't have a fixed program to know that, okay, I'll be back from work by this time. I can rest for these hours and then I study for these hours. So for me, I was grasping every little opportunity I had. I think if you attend all the classes that WirfonCloud is offering and the tutorial sessions, and you offer at least an hour per day of work on your own, you'll be ready for you, able to do the certifications. You might need to offer a little bit more when you're doing the hands-on later on. But at that time now, you will not be doing theory anymore. So the amount of time that you were using to attend the theory classes, you put in for hands-on, and that will be okay. So just the classes that WirfonCloud is offering, just ensure that at least an hour of work each day, and you'll be fine. I would say that. Because usually when you postpone that, I would study only during the weekend. Sometimes the weekends become very short, and before you know it, it's Monday again. So just ensure that every day study something. You can have the courses on the phone sometimes. When you're moving on the bus or you're going somewhere in an Uber, just watch them or you listen to them. That's how you maximize your time. Yeah.
Yeah. Great. And I think maybe for those who just did the practitioner and read one, I'll put you on the spotlight if you won't mind. And maybe Clifford may come in after because we did a practitioner. We started on the 7th of January. And I think by the 7th of February or so, many of you have started passing. But read one, what will you say if someone is asking you the time input? Do you want to comment on that?
Hello, Prof. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? It's a bit noisy where I am.
Okay, no worries. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I can hear you.
Right. For me, I would say being dedicated to the sessions that are already being organized by WirfonCloud. So the morning sessions and evening sessions on some days was already quite sufficient because WirfonCloud helped to even lift some self-study tasks by doing the Sunday sessions of revisions, which should naturally be something that we should take up on our own and study for the revision sessions, but being dedicated to all the sessions and maybe catching up on videos that you've missed should already be more than sufficient. And maybe just putting in a few hours of your own in the week. Yeah, and I think with that, we're able to achieve it in a month or so.
Right. Right, that was starting from 0 to the cloud practitioner certification, at least just to be specific. And Clifford, maybe I know you, what would you say? Because I know you took the exam early, but your own determination. Do you want to share that experience or someone thinking about 6 months, what it takes?
Thank you, Barnes. What I would say is about the determination. First thing I would say is the mentorship. The mentorship is the main thing that gives you the probably the guide on how to go about it. But for me, let's say I have some few days in a week which I'm home and basically I'm alone, nothing to do. So the only thing that I would say for me is determination. As long as you're determined, even if you work 12 hours a day, you can come back and you still put 30 minutes down to do something. So I was at the start, I was really overwhelmed. So when I'm having a free time, sometimes I would just plan of working for just like 2 hours. During the day I'm off, I'll end up seeing myself being sitting on the computer for 6 hours. And by the time I looked at it, I have already covered a lot that I could take the exam. So I would say for me, probably it's just determination. Yeah. So it's just determination. I can say that's it for me. It's just determination. If you're really determined about it, even work or whatever, that shouldn't be a problem about that. It's just the determination. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you on that. Thank you for sharing that. You wanted to come out and speak. I think you were talking. I see if you have written, you can come up. or it was, but anyway, I was reading you saying, congratulations, Tatiana, you are indeed a force to reckon with. WirfonCloud is blessed to have you. And yeah, okay, we used to offer the Scrum classes, but that have slowed down because many people have not been asking for Scrum. So it's difficult to have a Scrum class for maybe 1 or 2 people. Maybe we tried to advertise it last time, but didn't get anyone register. Well, the number was just not worth it. But we have a Scrum Master here, who also passed through here. She did a Scrum Master. She came to from Cloud, but then did a Scrum Master. Many of you will know her. She did a Scrum Master also course, but then came back to WirfonCloud. And when we did the very first project, she was the Scrum Master in those projects, and later on had her job. So she's one of the ones who have been delivered courses on Scrum Master here. But at the moment, we don't have a Scrum Master class course going on, right? So there is really much. I know that we are already at 4 past. Still, many of you here, which I think you find useful. We'll be sharing the link. I'll put. Don't go yet. I'm just saying that we'd really like to have feedback. As we have always said, feedback on this is always going to help us know what we did better in this session. But before we get into that, I want to allow any other comments. Please come up and share your comments or thoughts. I've seen a lot of them. Congratulations from here, Young. And I see. Go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. Congratulations, Tatiana. That is really inspiring. And I would like here to congratulate the whole of WirfonCloud community for a job well done. The Saturday sessions had always been an inspiration for me. And congratulations for me, Bati. I've seen that it has gone a long way and we are moving upwards. The Saturday session today is a different level. At least we have moved from the beginning. So it's really encouraging and I'm happy. And I would like to congratulate the whole community. Keep it up. We roll the cloud.
We definitely thank you so much for that. Yeah, I was laughing because I remember when we started the Saturday sessions, how that long before and how it was. But yeah, it's true. A lot has changed, and yeah, thank you for recognizing and appreciating that. And I really thank you also for, and just like everyone here, because without you coming for the Saturday sessions, we won't have this. Uh, Many people may not also recognize this has really transformed me. If I'm an AWS authorized instructor today, it was because this community started, right? So it's really been a win-win, both for people who are here and for me being here, because I realized that I had a passion for teaching, which I didn't really think about it. And that pushed me to get into the AWS authorized program, and was really, and with the experience I had here, I just had to really do but a few things. So really appreciating everyone who take their Saturday sessions to be here. But I would like to hear from, I've shared the link. I'm looking forward to your feedback. It's on our channel and it's also on Zoom. I would like to hear from many of you as well. There's also the link to join the Telegram group, especially for someone who did ask earlier on, that was Steve Tech, to join the main group. But are there any other open thoughts or questions from anyone? Please feel free. Or is there something that Tatiana didn't say you wanted to hear? There's an iPhone, and oh, now I'm confused, so I don't call the name. Go ahead.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, Vanessa. Yeah.
I just want to say congratulations, Tatiana, and congratulations to WirfonCloud. Thank you so much, Tatiana, for hooking me up. God bless you. And so many things that you said resonated with me right now. Yeah. It's a journey. So long as if you fall, you keep going. Yeah. Thank you so much, Prof, for your support and everything. Thank you to every of my classmates. Thank you so much. God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you for that.
Thank
Very,
you.
very warm hearing that. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm happy that my story is a source of inspiration to you and to many others. And not just the story being a source of inspiration, but I'm there to share in your story as well as you grow. As Theo mentioned, we are here to hold your hands. We've not gone and left the community behind. We are still here. We are in the Telegram groups. Write to us. I appreciate when we do the labs and someone who was not following comes back and says, I was able to go through the lab and succeeded. It gives me joy. So even if you went through the lab and you did not succeed, I would still be happy to receive that message and help you troubleshoot go through. So we are there to hold your hands, and thank you. Thanks again.
Yeah. No, thanks for that. And just to mention, Tatiana has been recommending many people since we joined this community. Vanessa is one of those, and many people have been here. Interestingly, we have Emmanuel from Kenya, her recommendation as well. So let's keep this community growing. If you have someone, don't hesitate to do so. Yeah, you go ahead. I see your hand is up. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for me. I just want to use this opportunity to congratulate you, Tatiana. Join the congratulatory voices, that English, but join the voices to applaud you. And it's true when you started, and even after when you got your first job, I was like, wow, this is so much dedication, this is so much commitment. But getting your story again, hearing the background work, wow, a lot of things were going on in the background. And given the fact that, I mean, you as a mom having your 4-month-old child, that's again another milestone. So congratulations. WirfonCloud is so blessed to have you. I mean, you're one of the people in WirfonCloud, I would say, down to earth, really willing to help. I mean, just from the voice, how can one not want to ask for your help? You're so welcoming, and thank you so much for the support and give back you give to WirfonCloud, even after reaching there, right? Reaching one of your main goals. As though as Tio said, we are still going upward. I mean, this not yet the end. But big congratulations to you, Tatiana.
Thank you so much, Lady M. Thank you. Thanks.
All right. So I don't see any questions, any other hands up, or should we? I know it's already 10:15. We were planning always to end at 10:11. And maybe for some people, it's 9:11 in the UK anyway, but maybe Mike, if you won't mind, well, I've not heard your voice, and I just want to maybe ask if you have a comment to make. Mike is, for those who don't know Mike is for the network, one of our network instructors, right? Before we go, I don't know. And while waiting, oh, sorry, okay, surely it's noisy at this end, but while waiting, I noticed someone asking if there's revision. Yeah, as agreed for those who are currently doing the, in the architecting course, remember on Sunday morning, that's tomorrow, maybe that's why we have to go in 7 or 8 hours, you have revision coming up. Yaki will be leading that. So I noticed someone asking. Yeah, so revision is tomorrow, Sunday. That's for you, Linda. And for those who maybe are forgetting. Right. So I think with that, it's really been, I really want to thank everyone again. Okay, Clifford, go ahead. Your hand is up, or who is that? Yeah.
Sorry, Baz, I don't know. It's like I saw in the Telegram group once about a Saturday session where to have with someone, Boris, but later on I didn't find the post again about it.
Boris, a Saturday session?
Session, yeah, like this. So
Okay.
I went back through the post, like the charts, to find that particular post. I don't know if it was taken down. It was 7, I can't quite remember the date, but it was something like this with
That Boris will give a talk. No, that post was not yet made. You mean like give his testimony on the cloud journey, right?
Yeah, I saw a post like that, and later on, I was expecting it. And when I was looking for the post, I couldn't find it anymore. I thought it was brought down because I think the date was closer. I don't know. So I was
No,
yeah.
No, we're still going to plan that. Yeah, it's still going to come. I remember writing that Boris will do that. And then there was a post that I'm thinking the post that we made and brought down was the one on AI and machine learning that we had. And then so many things happened and we changed. But Boris is still going. Boris was one of the members in the consulting who got a job also. And yeah, he will definitely come and share his stories as well. Yeah, we'll come to that. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Great. No, I think we have come this far, and if you wanted to join the group, make sure that there's a Telegram group if you are not yet there. Really, your feedback as well will be welcome. It's really, I want to thank everyone who came just to listen to this story and be inspired, and this will keep you going. And also share the stories as well as bring others who are really serious and determined, so that we do this all together, because it's possible. Cloud is not something, as we say, we demystify it here, and I hope we have had that experience that it's happening, especially when we've been hearing these success stories. So a big thank you all. Looking forward to seeing you. For those having classes tomorrow, definitely. But apart from that, well, many of you will be seeing you on Tuesday. And for those who are new, we'll be sending out flyers. So the next cohort starting in April, and looking forward to seeing you again all together. So thank you all. Have a great evening and a good night. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And thanks again, Tatiana. Bye. Thank you. Yeah.